got some Stormcast and you got some Primaris, but you're a bit bored of both. Well, let's dice it up a little bit. Let's make it exciting and let's do some really awesome looking conversions. So what's up, Hobby Corner gang? My name's Kev, this is the Hobby Corner, and we are going to be making some interesting conversion with the Lord Relictor and with some bits and pieces left over from making these Primaris intercessors. So if you want to find out more about what I do in the channel, if you like what you see and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and if you like what you see, slap that like button. Slap it hard, and make sure you share it about. Leave a comment below as well, let me know what you think, and we'll get into it. So I was building the Silver Templar box that I got like well over a year ago with the Conquest series, and I know it's been a while. I had loads of spurs on the sprue and I was like, oh, what can I do with these? Now I could jazz up the push fit intercessors and all that, but I thought I wanted to do a bit more interesting stuff with it. So I remembered I had a spare Lord Relictor model that was given to me by a very generous subscriber, so thank you so much. You know who you are. He doesn't like to be mentioned, but man, I knew it would come in handy. You knew it would come in handy, so cheers, man. So fast forward to now, I've got it, and issue 41 of the Mortal Realms magazines have it on that exclusive sprue that you can only get in the Thunderstrike Brotherhood box set, which comes from the first Age of Sigmar starter kit. So can't get it anywhere else, and yeah, I thought this is the perfect time to do it. So I dug around, got it, and I started planning ahead. How can I make this look like a Primaris Ancient? So I compared it to the newer Primaris Ancient, because the original one looks quite bland, and the newer one from the Indominus box set is supposed to be like, a Primaris Ancient after 100 years of war in the Indominus Crusade. So it's a hell of a lot more ornate, which is great. It's also got some cool skeleton on his banner for whatever reason, so that fits as well. So I started looking at what I could do to change the Lord Relictor to fit more in with the Indominus Primaris Ancient, and I thought, okay, so the robes are gonna go, not the robes, but the excessive scroll work will have to go, because it's way too chunky, it's well out of proportion, doesn't quite fit, especially if I want to put Oaths of Moment. They're gonna look a bit comically small compared to that scroll work. So I thought, okay, get rid of that. I wanted to keep the helmet as well for maybe a chaplain conversion, because it's got a nice skull face, but later on I find out it's actually really tricky getting that helmet out, and I ended up damaging it too much, so I wouldn't be able to use it again. So I started looking at things that I can snip away, like the spikes on the shoulders, which I later on decide, you know what, I'll get rid of the shoulders anyway. I tried looking around for a bolt rifle or a heavy bolt pistol that is left-handed held. I couldn't find one, so I decided I'm going to give him a huge sword, which I found in my Stormcast bits box. So excellent, it's going to look absolutely ridiculously out of proportion, but I did want that one thing to be a focal point, so it had to be ridiculous. I also looked at other bits and pieces that I could chop up, change, and I started planning away. So I got the bits together that I thought I'd need. Plenty of Oath of Moments, some spare shoulder pads, a power pack, and the sword, and a spare holster and stuff from the sprue from the intercessors, and I started getting chopping. And of course I know Spud would be very proud of me for just chopping away with Abaddon. And yeah, we'll get back to where we got to in a minute. So I had a bit of difficulty getting the head out of the shoulders, and I tried just using the clippers just to pry it out, but I ended up having to use the knife to cut it out. Heads up, warning sign, blah blah blah, safety notice. If you are a minor or someone who has difficulty holding sharp things, then it is good to have someone else, or an adult if you're a youngster, to handle the blade for you, because it is absolutely sharp and you don't want to do yourself some harm. So be absolutely careful with that, and always try and cut away from you and onto a hard surface so that you don't chop your fingers in bits. Now with that said, the next bit was making sure that I could paint it and convert it easily. So I had to get rid of the arm with the banner. Not get rid of it, but just remove it. And luckily there's a nice join just on the elbow where I could slice through cleanly and it would reattach with ease. This left the robes a lot more accessible to being removed, and at the bottom of the banner pole I did have to be real careful when cutting off, because some of it is attached to the banner pole. With a bit of filing I managed to smooth it over, and yeah, it was ready to move on to the next stage, which was to fix that hole on the left chest. Now when you remove that shoulder pad and the badge, there is a big hole in the chest, and I softened up a little bit of the plastic that I had scraped off. It was like a real thin scraping, kind of like a chocolate flake scrape, you know. So I managed to cut it to size, put it on, and I'll put quite a bit of plastic glue on it to soften it, and I just used the hobby knife just to smooth it over and press it into place. Once that I had properly cured, I then got some liquid green stuff and just smoothen it over, and there you go, job done. Now you don't need to be perfect with areas like this because they're quite easy to cover up, and part of it will be covered up with a shoulder pad and part of it will be covered up with a small little shield that I found. So I'm going to stick that on there, and there you go, easy peasy. After doing that, I thought about maybe chopping off the loincloth chainmail, because I thought it was a bit ridiculous to have such a huge chainmail bit between the legs just for no reason. You don't need it in the 41st millennium. So that went. I had to wait for that green stuff to cure before I could do much else with that chest and glue that shield on. Once I'd done that, I looked to using some of the bits that I chopped off. Now some of the spike that I chopped off from the shoulder, I thought maybe I could use it on the head as like some headdress or a mohawk or something, but then I ended up turning it down because I thought it was going to be a little bit too much. And I liked the spikes on the back as well, because I thought that was like it framed him well, and it was like a really extravagant iron halo. So to have anything else around the helmet just sort of took away from that. After that, it was just a case of putting the extras on, like the gun holster, checking to see that the power pack would fit on the back, which luckily, because it was a push fit one, it had the big pin on it, so I didn't have to do anything extra to make sure that that fit nicely, which it did, square in the back. And then pin the handle of the sword and the cross guard of the sword, and then with a little bit of paper clip, super glue in there, cut it to size, job done. And there you have it. This is what it looks like, and it looks good, and I'm really happy with it. Though for moments I put around sparingly, and yeah, no, I'm really good with it, and it fits really nicely with the rest of the intercessors. It looks a bit over the top, but it's a Primaris Ancient, it's supposed to. So yeah, no, I'm really happy with that, and it wasn't too hard to do either. It was an evening's work, and it was really enjoyable. And yeah, you can make yours look really radical if you want, or nice and simple. And then of course I did a quick little paint job on it as well, because I couldn't wait to paint it. And if you want to see how that sword was done, I actually did that on last week's live stream, so you can see that. I'll put the link somewhere, in real time, by the way. So it's a real easy technique, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So there you go. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button, slap that like button and share with any other Silver Templar fans or converting fans that you know. And that'll be it for now. So until next time, I'll see you then. Peace.